Hey guys, what's happening? Today I wanted to share 3 tips to be successful in today's society. Especially with all the overstimulation in today's society, I think these 3 things are really important in kind of dialing in your focus and being able to really excel past the crowd. First thing I wanted to say is, even though it sounds funny, I think it's important to realize that competition is for losers. That's right. Stop trying to compete with others. Competition puts you in a state of mind of comparison, which is usually detrimental to performance. When we compare ourselves to others, 2 things happen. First, we see how we're better than others and become complacent, or we see how others are better than ourselves and let that get to our head, making us feel inferior. The only person that you should be comparing yourself to is you. Everyone else is in a completely different situation, and you can never see their entire story. In my life, I used to compare myself to others quite a bit. One of the goals I used to have was to be in good physical shape and to get a 6-pack, right? That's a pretty common goal. But I would look on Instagram and I'd see all these other people completely shredded, and it killed my confidence, honestly. I was only working out for a couple of weeks and didn't see many results, and felt like I was never going to be like them. The thing that I didn't realize, though, was how many hours they put in behind the scenes to make their body look like that, as well as their genetics were not my genetics. They're the top 0.1% of people. I also knew that diet was important to get my physique right, but I would look at others who were really overweight, eating fast food all the time, and felt like I was better than them and I could slack a little bit, because I wasn't anywhere near their position. And because of this comparison, I ended up becoming complacent and didn't work as hard as I could have in accomplishing my workout goals. And over time, I stopped looking at others on social media and ignored how others chose to feed their bodies, and I started to compare myself to who I was yesterday. And I think this mindset was super valuable for me. Through this mindset shift of comparing myself to myself, I no longer felt these feelings of insecurity or superiority. I knew what I had to improve on and what others did around me, and that didn't influence me any longer. So my task for you is to stop comparing yourself to others and begin comparing yourself to who you were yesterday. And the largest benefits you'll see is a reduction in the feelings of complacency or inferiority once you start comparing yourself only to yourself and not the others around you. So I definitely think that's a super valuable tip, especially with the rise of social media and how much more we're all connected in today's society. The next tip for lifelong success is to focus on the fundamentals. It's remarkable how simple it really is to see success on your goals if you practice the small fundamental details. Everyone's lied to by the online influencers who try to convince you of these complex strategies and groundbreaking hacks that will completely level up and change your life. The truth is that they're almost always wrong. If you want to build a life worth living, the things that will get you there are consistent actions in the right direction. There's really no shortcuts. Through straightforward methods, you'll ensure your efforts are in the right direction, and hopefully this YouTube channel will guide you in the right direction at the right time. So definitely make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. So please just don't get caught up in all the fancy nonsense that you might be hearing on social media all the time. It's really not that complicated. It's fairly simple, but simple doesn't mean easy though. You just need to trust the process and build from the strong fundamentals that I'll try to teach you guys through this YouTube channel. As Will Smith once said, you don't set out to build a wall, right? You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. And you do that every single day, and soon you'll have a wall. I definitely think he was onto something there, because the point is to focus on the smallest repetitive action that leads to your desired end result, and just do that perfectly. If you're trying to build a building, you need a strong foundation. And if you rush the process and skip past what you think are going to be the easy parts, you're going to miss out on building this strong foundation, and you're going to be struggling later on. I mean, think about it. These small little actions really compound over time. That's a whole video in and of itself, honestly. If you find yourself looking for advanced, fancy techniques, remember those might kind of come into play later, but only after you master the fundamentals. The last and probably most important tip that I can give you is to enhance your metacognition. Now, you might be thinking, well, what the heck is that? Well, what is metacognition? Metacognition is the awareness of your own thoughts. So that's something kind of humans have special as a species, and it's one of the reasons that we were able to move up the food chain hierarchy so quickly. And by enhancing this, we can take more deliberate steps towards what we truly want. Throughout the day, we have thousands of thoughts that are automatically triggered by our environment. Many times, these thoughts can lead us down an emotional roller coaster, which completely distracts us from what's really important. If you want to get ahead in life, you need to recognize what is triggering the defense mechanisms in your mind, the fight or flight responses. And not only that, but metacognition can also be used to understand how certain stimuli make us behave. If you learn to feel what is happening within your body and associate that with situations, then you can use your conscious mind going forward to redesign the stimulus in your life to cause more desired results. This is a pretty complex topic, honestly, and it's quite abstract, but throughout this example I've been thinking of, I hope to help you kind of show it to you in practice. I used to have the Twitter app, right? And it put me into an angry mood pretty often, honestly. I would open the app and look at memes or catch up on what friends are posting and get caught up in political posts or news headlines that kind of push my buttons. These would make me so upset that sometimes it would honestly ruin the next few hours of the day. Over time, I began to become more self-aware over what this app was doing to me. I realized it wasn't serving the purpose that I desired for it to, which was initially to provide for me to have positive experiences, laughing at memes and catching up with friends. But instead, I was in a blind rage often and never left the app happy. Through the self-awareness of my mental state, I determined the app to be more trouble than it was worth, honestly. I decided to delete Twitter, which has led to more peace of mind. And the point there is that there's always going to be stimuli that push our buttons and puts us into an uncontrolled state. And the goal is always to be in complete control and present and conscious of what we're doing and intentional. If we want to succeed in life, we need to become aware over how the world makes us feel. And this is only done through the pursuit of improving your metacognition and being aware of how your thoughts work and how they're triggered. A few key tips to help you strengthen your metacognition is to journal and to meditate. Honestly, those are the two biggest that I can think of. Journaling helps you analyze your mind and rewind the day to kind of see what was bothering you. It helped me personally unlock repressed emotions and has led to new insights about myself and the world that I exist in and what my environment's like. Whenever I journal, I always make sure to have 3 key points. One, in the morning is my intention for the day. At the end of the day, when I'm unwinding, I always like to note down at least 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for and then what I achieved in the day. I think those things are really valuable to include in a journaling practice. Some other good prompts are what went well, what could have went better, and what needs more attention in my life right now. I think these are some good starting prompts to kind of get started in journaling personally. I also highly, again, recommend that you meditate. I'll say that it's easily the best habit that I've developed in recent years. In order to get the most out of a meditation practice, you can combine it with journaling, actually. It allows for me to document what's happening within my mind and better understand myself, really. When you sit alone with yourself and you just focus on your breathing, thoughts will arise out of your subconscious, inevitably. These thoughts arise for a reason, and you must kind of observe them to gain insights from them. A self-awareness practice like this will help you detect the subconscious blockers that are preventing you from success and see what your mind is still holding on to. A lot of times we don't get that time to internalize thoughts and kind of work through them. Instead, we are always reaching for our phone, or we have any sorts of stimulation that's going to grab our attention and pull us away from that. I guarantee that when you dedicate yourself to a metacognition practice, you'll make immense growth on the things that have been holding you back. The answers that you need exist a lot of times within yourself, and self-awareness is your key to unlocking them. So there you have it. Those are my top 3 tips in today's society that I think are super, super beneficial, and I've seen a lot of benefit from in my own life personally. Start comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, focus on the fundamentals, and enhance your self-awareness. By doing these 3 things, you'll set yourself up for way more fulfillment, way more consistent results, and a clear direction on what conditions need to be changed in your life. I hope you found these concepts helpful, and if you did, make sure to like, comment whatever thoughts you had on the topic, and definitely subscribe. And I challenge you guys to start today through a small, consistent journaling and or meditation practice. These are one of the most fundamental building blocks of success in life, honestly, and one that requires daily commitment to see the best results. Thanks for listening.